What you're about to discover will change how you understand spiritual authority forever. These aren't just ancient stories, they're blueprints for understanding the cosmic battle between light and darkness that continues to this very moment. But before we dive into these mysteries, if this content is opening your eyes to new biblical truths, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because we're just getting started on this journey of discovery. Texto Padrone. They trembled before he even spoke. They recognized him before anyone else did. They begged for mercy before facing judgment. Today, I'm going to reveal 4 biblical secrets about Jesus and demons that most people have never noticed, and what these encounters reveal about the invisible war that surrounds us every day. The first secret lies in something that defied all logic in the ancient world. In first-century Palestine, exorcists were common figures in society. Josephus himself documented elaborate rituals, complex incantations, and lengthy ceremonies used to expel demons. These practitioners would spend hours preparing sacred rings inscribed with Solomon's name, burning specific roots and herbs, reciting ancient formulas passed down through generations. Yet Jesus, he didn't follow any of these established patterns. When he encountered the possessed, something unprecedented happened. The demons recognized him instantly, without introduction, without ceremony, without explanation. Consider the possessed man in the synagogue at Capernaum. The congregation was listening to Jesus teach when suddenly, without warning, a voice that wasn't human erupted from among them. "What do you want with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." This wasn't just recognition, it was terror mixed with prophetic certainty. But here's what most miss. The demon wasn't afraid of what Jesus might do, it was terrified of who Jesus simply was. The very essence of his being created an immediate crisis in the spiritual realm. Ancient rabbinical writings speak extensively of the power inherent in sacred names, the Tetragrammaton, the 72 names of God. But this goes far beyond mere nomenclature. These spiritual beings possessed prophetic awareness, understanding something about Jesus that even his closest disciples hadn't fully grasped yet. They could see beyond the carpenter from Nazareth to the eternal Word made flesh. They recognized not just his identity as Messiah, but his ultimate purpose as judge, his final authority as King of Kings, his inevitable victory as the one who would crush Satan's head. Historical records from the period describe how other exorcists would often struggle for hours, sometimes days, to achieve what Jesus accomplished with a single word. The demon's immediate recognition reveals something profound about the spiritual realm's understanding of hierarchy, authority, and destiny. Think of it like a criminal who recognizes a Supreme Court judge before the trial even begins. The fear isn't just about potential punishment, it's about the certainty of absolute, perfect justice. The demons trembled because they could see the end from the beginning. They understood that every encounter with Jesus was a preview of their final judgment, a foretaste of the lake of fire, a reminder that their time was limited and their defeat was sealed before the foundation of the world. The second secret reveals something even more intriguing and counterintuitive. Jesus didn't always cast out demons immediately. This challenges our modern understanding of divine mercy and perfect power. We expect God to act instantly, to fix problems with a snap of divine fingers. But Jesus operated on a different timeline with deeper purposes. In Mark chapter 9, we encounter one of the most detailed exorcism accounts in Scripture. The disciples had already tried and failed to help a boy possessed by a spirit that caused violent seizures. When the desperate father brought his son to Jesus, something unusual happened that breaks our expectations of immediate divine intervention. Jesus didn't immediately command the demon to leave. Instead, he asked the father, "How long has he been like this?" This wasn't divine ignorance seeking information. It was divine pedagogy revealing deeper truths. The father's answer painted a heartbreaking picture from childhood. It has often thrown him into fire and into water to destroy him. Jesus was teaching everyone present, including us reading today, that spiritual warfare isn't about quick fixes or magical formulas. It's about understanding the depth of the battle, the completeness of the victory, and the transformation that must occur not just in the possessed, but in those who witness the deliverance. The Father's response reveals the crucial key. If you can do anything, take pity on us and help us. Notice the conditional language, the uncertainty, the desperation mixed with doubt. Jesus replied with what might be the most important statement about faith in all of Scripture. If you can, everything is possible for one who believes. The healing came not just through divine power operating independently, but through activated faith, creating the proper spiritual conditions. Jesus was demonstrating that spiritual authority operates in partnership with human faith, not independent of it. The delay wasn't divine hesitation, it was divine wisdom creating a teaching moment that would echo through the centuries. Archaeological evidence from Capernaum and surrounding regions shows us the cultural context of these events. Exorcism was big business in first-century Palestine. Professional exorcists charged significant fees, required elaborate preparations, and often achieved only temporary results. Jesus' method was radically different, completely free, instantly effective, and eternally transformative. If you're starting to see these biblical encounters in a completely new light, experiencing paradigm shifts in your understanding of spiritual truth, take a moment to like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear these revelations. These insights are too important to keep to yourself, and sharing them helps us reach others who are hungry for deeper biblical understanding. This brings us to our third secret, the encounter with Legion, which wasn't just an exorcism, but a cosmic negotiation that reveals the hierarchy and limitations of evil itself. When Jesus crossed the Sea of Galilee to the region of the Gerasenes, he was entering predominantly Gentile territory, a place where Jewish religious influence was minimal and pagan practices were common. There he encountered a man possessed by so many demons they called themselves Legion, a term borrowed from Roman military language indicating a force of approximately 6,000 soldiers. But here's what's fascinating and often overlooked. They didn't flee immediately upon seeing Jesus. Instead, they entered into dialogue, revealing something profound about the nature of spiritual authority and the rules that govern even the kingdom of darkness. "What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God?" The demon's greeting acknowledged Jesus' divine sonship immediately, using the same title that would later be proclaimed by the Roman centurion at the crucifixion. "I beg you, don't torture me." This reveals that even in their rebellion, demons understand divine justice and anticipate righteous judgment. But then comes the strange part that theologians have debated for centuries. They asked not to be sent to the abyss, but to be allowed to enter a nearby herd of pigs. Jesus granted their request. Why would the Son of God accommodate the wishes of demons? The answer reveals the complex relationship between divine sovereignty and spiritual law. Archaeological evidence shows that Gadara was a major center of pig farming, considered an abomination by Jewish standards, but a thriving industry for the Gentile population. The region was part of the Decapolis, 10 cities heavily influenced by Greek and Roman culture. Jesus wasn't just performing an exorcism, he was making a statement about the temporary nature of evil's earthly power and the cultural barriers that his kingdom would eventually transcend. The demons fled into the pigs. The entire herd rushed into the sea, and the sea became their grave. But the most powerful part of this story isn't the dramatic deliverance or even the economic loss suffered by the pig farmers. It's what happened to the man who had been possessed. Luke's account tells us he was found sitting at Jesus' feet, dressed and in his right mind. The Greek phrase suggests not just sanity, but wisdom, understanding, spiritual clarity. When the townspeople begged Jesus to leave because of their fear and economic concerns, this transformed man begged to follow Jesus. But Jesus gave him a different commission. Go home to your own people and tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how he has had mercy on you. The former demoniac became an evangelist, the first Gentile missionary in the Gospels. Destruction transformed into proclamation. Chaos became testimony. Isolation turned into community outreach. This reveals a consistent pattern in Jesus' ministry. He doesn't just liberate, he transforms. He doesn't just cast out darkness, he fills the void with light and purpose. The fourth and final secret is perhaps the most profound and theologically significant. Demons never attempted to possess Jesus himself. In all of Scripture, throughout the entire ministry of Christ, we never read of any demon attempting to possess, inhabit, or directly spiritually attack the person of Jesus Christ. Think about the implications of this. Throughout the Gospels, we see demons possessing men, women, even children. They inhabited the religious and the irreligious, the Jewish and the Gentile, the rich and the poor. Possession seemed to respect no earthly boundaries of race, religion, or social status. But there was one person they could never touch, never approach, never even attempt to influence. This wasn't because they respected him or feared retaliation. It was because his very nature made possession impossible. Light cannot coexist with darkness. Truth cannot house lies. And perfect holiness cannot accommodate even the smallest compromise with evil. The theological term for this is impeccability, meaning not just that Jesus didn't sin, but that he couldn't sin because sin was fundamentally incompatible with his divine nature. Historical accounts from Josephus describe various Jewish exorcists of that era using elaborate techniques, rings inscribed with Solomon's name and specific verses, burning roots with carefully prepared scents, lengthy incantations that could take hours to complete. Some claim to use formulas passed down from King Solomon himself. Others incorporated elements from Egyptian magic or Persian mysticism. But Jesus needed none of these. A single word from him carried more authority than all their ceremonies combined. Come out was sufficient. Be quiet and come out of him never failed. I command you to come out and never enter him again. Sealed the deliverance permanently. This absolute authority is powerfully illustrated in Acts 19, where the 7 sons of Sceva attempted to use Jesus' name like a magical formula without understanding its true source. In the name of the Jesus whom Paul preaches, I command you to come out. The demon's response was both chilling and revealing. Jesus I know and Paul I know about, but who are you? The evil spirit then attacked them physically, leaving them naked, wounded, and publicly humiliated. This incident reveals a crucial truth. Authority cannot be borrowed, imitated, or mechanically reproduced. It must be inherent, authentic, absolutely rooted in the nature and relationship of the one exercising it. Jesus possessed this authority not because of techniques he learned or formulas he mastered, but because of who he was in his essential being. The demons recognized in him the eternal Word, through whom all things were made, the exact representation of the Father's being, the one who holds all things together by the power of his word. They saw the one before whom every knee would bow, the name above every name, the judge of both the living and the dead, the King of kings and Lord of lords. Every time they encountered Jesus, they were facing their ultimate destiny, their final judge, their inevitable conqueror. No wonder they trembled. No wonder they begged. No wonder they never dared attempt what they freely did to every other human being they encountered. As we conclude this journey through these 4 biblical secrets, let me leave you with a final thought that ties everything together. Every single encounter between Jesus and the demonic realm was a preview of the ultimate victory that was purchased on the cross and will be fully realized at his second coming. Each deliverance was a glimpse of the final judgment when every evil spirit will be cast into the lake of fire. Every demon that trembled in his presence was acknowledging what they knew to be inevitable. Their defeat was certain, their time was limited, their end was sealed before the foundation of the world. Augustine of Hippo, one of the greatest theologians in church history, once wrote, "Demons tremble, not because of the cross itself, but because of the crucified one." They recognized in Jesus not just power, but ultimate authority, not just strength, but final justice, not just ability, but absolute sovereignty over every realm, visible and invisible. The invisible war is real, more real than the physical world we see. But the victory is already won, purchased with blood, sealed with resurrection, guaranteed by the nature of God himself. The question isn't whether Jesus has authority over darkness. That's been settled forever. The question is whether we'll walk in the light of that truth every single day, whether we'll live as victors rather than victims, whether we'll exercise the authority he's given us as his followers. If these revelations have impacted your understanding of spiritual truth and opened your eyes to the profound depths of biblical narrative, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon, because we're going to continue exploring the hidden mysteries of Scripture that can transform your life. Leave a comment below, sharing which of these 4 secrets most surprised you. And don't forget to share this video with others who are hungry for deeper biblical understanding. The battle is real, but the victory is certain. The King has come, the kingdom is here, and the darkness will never overcome the light.